buy things, but when they give like the school code, like a percentage of that goes
Okay.
to back to the school. So
Um,
and sometimes they'll still do things at the school, but usually they'll have like a recital or something. You know, they'll get the little school string quartet or whatever.
whatever.
Whatever. Children are dumb.
So we'd have the catalog, and I asked my teacher, Mr. Crooks.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, were you gonna do that? Because I used to like always buy like Garfield books and stuff like that,
Hell yeah!
and
Like storybooks, or were they collections of strips?
collections of strips.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he didn't have the time for it. He didn't have the time to help children with literacy.
Love to learn to read. Learn to love to read.
And so I asked him, well, if I take care of, if I pass this around to everyone and collect the money, and get everything together, will you just mail it off?
Right.
If I do all the legwork, will you do this? And he said, sure. So I went around and asked all my classmates, like, hey, buy this book.
Right.
And they have the program set up to where if there are like 10 books ordered, you could get what they call the classroom edition of whatever.
Right.
So like if you buy 10 books, like then the teacher could, or, because that's who they assume is doing this,
Right.
could be like, oh, like, well, let's get like a classroom edition of
Tales of Fourth Grade Nothing.
or Moss by Art Spiegelman.
Yeah.
Because that's appropriate for a sixth grade classroom. But what Scholastic didn't know, it wasn't a teacher. It was. Would you say I was greedy, or I was
grifter?
I was hungry I was thirsty.
I think you went. Well, it's sort of a mutually beneficial thing, right?
Yeah, I mean,
like
look,
you were providing a valuable service,
Well,
for pretty much no money.
well, what happened was instead of it being a classroom edition, I would get the books I wanted, and that would be mine.
Now, was this just one go round, or you did this all year?
It was about twice, because I mean they only do it about 2 times a year.
And your teacher never figured it out? He never got wise, or he just didn't give a
Well,
shit?
no, I was like, he's like, he'd be like, hey, the books are here, go ahead and pass them out.
So, never...
No.
I wouldn't... I mean, it's clever, and if you'd presented it that way, he probably would have said no, but I wouldn't say that there was necessarily anything wrong with what you did. Like, I don't think it's immoral, but it is a little bit... It's not even iffy. It's just like you're hiding part of the truth.
Like when I tell someone that, your reaction is wholly appropriate, because you're like, it's not wrong, but there's something about it. I can't quite, because it's like, it's weird because it's not like I'm stealing money or anything. It's like that's definitely wrong. It's like
Right.
like you're not even stealing anything. Like those books were earned,
Right.
not for what it was supposed to be, but still a kid is reading them.
Right. So maybe it's just because you subverted the system for your own ends.
Look.
But you know what? Those kids got their books. You got your books. The teacher didn't have to fucking deal with
Yeah.
it.
Everyone wins.
I'd say you earned it.
I mean, look.
I mean, if a kid came to me and said it, I'd probably be like, I can't do that just because it's against the rules and I could get in trouble.
Look, it's like that guy who won like hundreds of thousands of dollars on Press Your Luck by memorizing like the patterns of the board. It's
There's some sleight of hand, some trickery.
It's like, hey, if you can beat the house,
that's the house's problem.
sorry.
If you're
So-
smart enough to beat the house, you beat the house.
How the hell did we start talking about this?
I don't remember.
Started talking about books.
God or Lover, and then we got into Star Trek.
And then we got into Man of Steel, 4 episodes. I don't know. But the battle was
Yes.
good.
Yeah, it was. We get our first kind of glimpse into Picard's past that doesn't involve the Crushers.
Yeah. Well, they hook up with some Ferengi ship, the Enterprise does, and the Ferengi captain, his name is Diamond Bach. And
Of course, common name among the Ferengi.
And he wants to talk to Picard, who has been having these crazy headaches.
Mm-hmm, which is unusual in future times, in Star Trek times.
Because
they've cured the common
they've
headache.
cured everything.
Right. So the fact
they've
that
cured the common cold.
So Dr. Crusher's worried. She's like, this isn't normal.
Yes, because she's like, I can't figure out why you have a headache. I guess before they're like, oh, you have a headache because, I don't know, why do people get headaches?
Overstressed, overworked.
But I mean, like, what happens?
I don't know.
Doesn't your brain grow against your skull or something?
Probably. That's got to be what it is.
but she can't figure out why, which is bugging her.
Your brain's getting out of control.
So he's talking to the Bach, the Ferengi Bach, and Bach's like, "Oh, the hero of Maxia," and Picard's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Right.
And so Bach gives him
the USS Stargazer.
Yeah, his old ship, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and this kind of jogs Picard's memory. He's like, "Oh yeah, Maxia." Like no one really calls it the Battle of Maxia. It's just
Right, but it was.
I mean, something happened. Whatever. It's not a big deal.
I changed things forever. I changed the game.
But whatever. And there's a scene where and the Ferengi are kind of the other Ferengi are like, "You're gonna just give him this? Like you're not gonna sell it?
Price? Ooh,
like,
oogie.
Yeah, like what's up with that? Because all they care about is the monies."
Right. Well, they also think that it's disrespectful. I think in some way, like to not name a price. Like that was the impression that I got from his second in command being like, "What? No price?"
Well, the Ferengi like they're like just crazy capitalists. Like that's
pure capitalism.
Yeah.
They are Ayn Rand adherents.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a scene later on where Riker is just like verbally filleting Picard. Like they explain what happened at Maxia. The Stargazer was attacked by this unknown ship.
And Picard was the helmsman. He was the Sulu.
Yeah, and like the ship's on fire, and and they're not long for this world, for that world, I should say. And so what Picard did was he warped from where they were to directly in front of the ship.
So that it appeared momentarily as if they were
because two places. Yeah, they're like pretty much like right next to each other.
Right.
So it goes like maybe the equivalent of like if you could go from like one end of the football field to the other immediately.
Well, it's like those panoramic pictures they used to take of us in school, where the camera would slowly pan across.
Yes.
So if you were at the one end and you ran behind everybody else, you could be at both ends of the picture.
Exactly. And so the unknown ship fired at the apparently the image of the Stargazer, and the Stargazer's like "fuck you" and pew 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 blew it up, boom. And so yeah, Riker's like, "Dude, like that shit was baller," and
they call it the Picard maneuver.
And Picard is like, "I did what any helmsman would have done," and Riker's like, "Except no one had ever done that. You invented it, dude.
Dude, it's so dope that I'm here with you.
You're like the coolest guy." But Picard just blows it off because he's cool like that. He's a fucking smooth operator.
He really is. He's not a.
Like these headaches are like crazy bugging him.
Yeah.
So he's like, everyone just shut up.
The fuck up. I don't give a shit.
But yeah, he's got a crazy headache still.
Yeah.
And it turns out that there's like this red orb thing that Damon Bach is like manipulating that's causing these headaches on Picard.
It's a thought projector or something like that.
Yes, and they get another one onto the Enterprise.
Right, because they hid it among his belongings on the Stargazer.
Yeah.
So when they brought all his things over.
Because after they blew up that ship, they all had to evacuate, so they all had to dip out.
Right. They had no idea what was going to happen to the ship.
So they're like, it might blow up in like 3 seconds. We need to get the fuck out of here. Right. So they left all their stuff there. So he was like, "Oh, cool! I got all my old trading cards back."
That's right. Oh my
Legos. Yeah. I only just now got up to that level.
Right. Well, Legos are a lot more complicated than Star Trek times. Yeah. They're considered an adult pastime.
Exactly. I never got into Legos as a kid.
I loved Legos. I was never good at them. I would only build houses over and over again with it. I was like an autistic kid.
Repetition, too.
Right. Well, I would want to build really cool shit, but back then, Lego pieces only came in 3 or 4 shapes.
Yeah, now,
they have these incredibly specialized Lego kits. You can build a fucking Millennium Falcon if you've got the money to spare.
But also, what's the point of that?
Right, except to have a Lego version of the Millennium Falcon.
It's my whole thing was,
you're supposed to be creative.
Yeah, I never had enough to really build what I would want.
Right.
I had never had the pieces that I want to build a T-Rex. Yeah, well, how the fuck am I going to make the teeth, and how the fuck am I going to make a pointed tail?
Right.
And then on the flip side, you can just buy a T-Rex Lego thing. What the fuck is the point of that?
Right.
That's fucking Bogota.
I guess it's just fun to build.
Fuck Legos.
It's just fun to build.
And fuck Duplos, too.
Those are toddler versions for even stupider children.
Although Adrian does love her Duplos.
Does she build a lot of stuff?
She builds, like, towers.
That's pretty much what I did.
So Picard's got these headaches. They got this dot projector on the Enterprise now as well.
So these two red balls are talking to each other.
Which he's pretty much going crazy. They transport him onto the Stargazer, and they get them working to the point where he's hallucinating and he thinks that he's back on the Stargazer during that period
and
of
that
time.
the Enterprise is
the unknown ship, which Bach reveals that it's
it had his son aboard.
Yeah, it wasn't an unknown ship; it was a Ferengi ship, and his son was aboard.
Also,
so he's mega butthurt.
It bears mentioning as well that the Ferengi altered the records of Picard's final log on the ship to make it sound like what he did wasn't what's in the history book.
That the ship wasn't that the ship hadn't fired
right
first. Basically, that he just
he made a bad call.
He just executed this ship for no reason. For no reason that doesn't make any sense.
And Picard's starting to wonder as he's going crazy, like, well, maybe I did, and I just don't remember it right.
Yeah, which I thought they might lead down that path, but
it'd be a tough thing to swallow about your main character.
Well, I mean, not so much that he that it went down as the Ferengi altered log states, but
it was a lot more panicked and confused, and
just maybe he hit something. I mean, maybe he hit something because it would have
looked bad, kind of running the book fair.
Not even that it looked bad of it. I don't know how I'm trying to.
Can you give a movie example, like some Courage Under Fire type shit, maybe?
It's. I know I can't. I don't know what I'm thinking right now.
What am I thinking? It would be a little darker. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it would be a little
like Picard was injecting heroin between his toes so he wouldn't leave track marks.
Well, maybe he did it to protect the captain or to protect the Federation or something.
Right.
All right, I didn't include this because I knew the captain was. I don't know.
But at the same time, I think that he's so by the book.
True.
Whenever he thinks he's like, look, you know what your duty is. He says it to Riker. He's like, you've got to send this to Starfleet. Yeah, you know what your duty is.
It's processed food and waste.
Hey, number one, go take it. Number two, am I right?
Am I right? High five. Picard.
Yeah, he's so by the book that he orders them to send this fake log to Starfleet, and he's like, well, I hope we can figure it out before then, but I mean, this is your job. You have to do this.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the episode with Wesley, where he's like, I don't want to break the rules. The rules fucking matter. So I can't imagine that he would have hidden something like that, but it would have been an interesting character choice to make very early on.
So he's acting as if he's back during the Battle of Maxia.
Right, he's seeing spectral visions of his old crew. And
Riker realizes what's going on. He's like, oh shit, he's reenacting it, but he doesn't. Picard is out of his gourd.
Right.
And so they use a tractor beam to essentially, as it warps in, it kind of just captures it and just stops it.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes Picard's stunt double fly across the bridge,
right?
Which is a cool move. And then he tells Picard, he's like, "Dude, that red thing is fucking up your mojo. You need to blow it up."
Right.
And Picard almost just I don't know. It's weird.
What is he?
Well, he takes out his phaser and blows it up,
right.
But it's almost because he's still under the manipulation, the influence of it. I mean, I
guess he's fighting it.
Maybe he trusts Riker that much?
Maybe, or his instincts are just good enough that he can struggle past it. I don't know.
So,
because he's fighting it the whole time. That might be why the headaches are there, because it's an invading force in his mind, and his mind knows on some level something's wrong.
Kind of like with allergies. Your body thinks something's wrong.
Right.
The histamines.
Yeah, them stupid histamines.
Fucking histamines.
I got the worst. I don't have the worst. I know plenty of people with worse allergies than me, but I hate them.
So Picard gets back on the Enterprise, and